dying, but I want to. Recent controversy has risen whether or not physician-assisted suicide should be legalized. For those of you who may not know, physician-assisted suicide is when somebody who is terminally ill reaches out to a physician and asks them to help them die. Today, I'm here to convince you that physician-assisted suicide should be legalized. The first reason I think that physician-assisted suicide should be legalized is because the Hippocratic Oath is no longer valid. The second reason I believe that physician-assisted suicide should be legalized is because there are safeguards in order to prevent those who are terminally ill and don't want to go through with physician-assisted suicide don't have to. The third reason I believe that physician-assisted suicide should be legalized is because prescription medications can often be more painful than death itself. So let's take a look at my first reason. The Hippocratic Oath is no longer valued and physician-assisted suicide doesn't actually break it. Michael Strauss, who's a doctor, says that the oath directs the physicians, including himself, to help the sick. So, a modern interpretation of this may be, do what is best for the patient and is what is in his or her best interest. Also, another doctor, Emily Rapoli, who is a writer for the Becker's Hospital Review, which is ranked top 50,000 out of 1 million hospital review websites, says that younger physicians have less faith in the Hippocratic Oath because it was written so long ago. So they kind of write their own terms for it. So, let's take a look at my second reason, which is the safeguards. The patients must go through a multi-step process in order to even be considered for physician-assisted suicide. In all states, the process for physician-assisted suicide, where it is legal, are the same. And according to the Death with Dignity Act's webpage, a nonprofit that specializes in physician-assisted suicide, the steps include a mental examination, 2 waiting periods. One is after your written request, and the other is after your oral request, and they are both a time period of 15 days. Some of the requirements also include you have to be 6 months. You have to have 6 months left to live with a terminally ill disease. You also must be over the age of 18, and you also have to have a mental examination. Physicians can sense when something isn't right with a person, and they have the ability to send them to multiple mental evaluations to make sure they are stable enough to make these decisions for themselves. So that is one of the reasons I believe that physician-assisted suicide should be legalized. My third reason for physician-assisted suicide to be legalized is that many powerful pain medications can often be more painful than death itself. Some of the most powerful that are used for cancer, which is one out of many terminally ill diseases, are morphine, oxycodone, and hydromorphone. And some of these side effects that all 3 of these include are nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, seizures, hallucinations, changes in heartbeat, and more. I got this information from Medline Plus, which is a government website that roots from the largest medicine library in the world. And these side effects are super painful and destructive mentally and physically. The pain a patient may receive from these are going to be more painful than the peace and wellness that comes with physician-assisted suicide. Taking these extremely heavy medications may help in the short run with pain, but in the long run, they're also very deadly. So some of my opposing arguments relay back to the topics I just brought up. So the Hippocratic Oath, some arguments are that the physician-assisted suicide is breaking the Hippocratic Oath that says do no harm. But in reality, a lot of doctors and a lot of physicians no longer follow that because they want to do what is right for the patient. A second opposing argument is to the safeguards. A lot of people say that the safeguards aren't there. People are going to kill themselves all willy-nilly. They're going to take advantage of this. But in reality, there is a multi-step process that not a lot of people who figure out what it is are going to actually go through with it if they are not in extreme amount of pain. And they're not even allowed to if they're not terminally ill. And the third one is about the prescribed medications. And, you know, people are saying, oh, well, life can't be that bad with prescribed medications. But really, some people, they don't have to feel what these other people are going through, you know? They're just going through their daily lives, not having to feel the pain that comes with these medications. And sometimes death honestly would be easier. And I know that sounds blunt, but it's the truth. So let's recap. Today I was here to convince you that physician-assisted suicide should be legalized. My first point was that the Hippocratic Oath is no longer valid. My second point was that the safeguards are there to prevent those who don't want to kill themselves not to. And my third reason was that pain medications are often more painful than physician-assisted suicide itself. So my call to action would be to vote on your pamphlets, vote on anything. This generation has the ability to make whatever laws they want within reason. So I encourage you all to vote. And with that, I thank you.